Good evening and welcome back to Grandma Susie's Kitchen. I'm Grandma Susie. Today we're going to be making spinach and oat crepes. It's a recipe I saw on the internet from an Arab country, and I'm converting the recipe into American terms using American measurements. So you're going to need a couple of cups of spinach, 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 cups of water. You need a blender. I use a crepe pan and a spatula, a 1 cup measure, salt and pepper, and this is what oats for making oatmeal. I'm using steel cut oats, but you can use the quick cooking oats if you want to. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is to put all the ingredients into the blender. You're going to reserve 1 cup of water, put it in later. So you put your spinach, your eggs, and a cup of oats and a cup of water into the blender. Put it on the blender stand. Blend it until it's smooth. Then you let it sit for a half hour. That causes the oats to absorb the moisture from the water, and it makes a smoother texture. Then you unscrew the lid, you pour in the other cup of water, add salt and pepper. Then you fry it in the pan. So I'll show you how to make the crepes. After the crepe is dry on top and the edges start to curl, you can lift the edge and see if it's brown on the bottom yet. Then you can flip it over. Add some grated cheese to it. Then flip it in half. To form a sandwich. You can flip it over. Let it get a little bit brown on both sides. Makes about 8 crepes. And you can check the bottom. You can remove it to the serving tray. Then put some more butter on the pan. Pan should be hot when you're making crepes. Pour some more batter on there. Let it sit for a minute before you swirl it, so the bottom will start to stick and it'll hold it in place. And just swirl it around like this. It's the same process as making French crepes. This is still wet. Once it dries out, then you can flip it. You touch it and it's dry in the middle and it's ready to turn. Just put the spatula under it, flip it over like that. And you can sprinkle it with some cheddar cheese or any kind of cheese you like. You can use mozzarella or goat cheese. Then turn it over and make it into a pocket like that. Just put it on the serving dish with the others. After the crepes are ready, you can put a piece of wax paper between them, like this. Then take a freezer bag and put them all in the freezer bag. I use a Ziploc bag. Fold it over and zip it. You can store it in the refrigerator for a few days. These turned out really well. Very moist and flavorful. Really delicious. So I hope you'll join me again next time on Grandma Susie's Kitchen. Until then, be safe, be happy, take care. Bye-bye. Today we're making spinach and oat crepes. We put some spinach in a blender, added a cup of oats, a cup of water, 2 eggs, and blended it until it was smooth. Then you let it sit for a half hour. That allows the water to soak up in the oats. Then you add an extra cup of water, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, salt and pepper, and put it in the blender again. Then you butter the pan. I use a crepe pan. It's rounded on the edges, makes a good crepe. You spread the mixture on the pan, let it sit. When it starts to dry out, you flip it over. That it should be brown on the bottom. And you can sprinkle some cheese on there. Turn it over. Like that. Let it cook a little bit longer. You don't want it to be doughy, you want it to be firm and crispy. Then you just take it off, turn off the heat, and put it in the serving plate with the others. It makes 8 of these.